Hello friends, welcome to Shauna Stitches. I'm Shauna and this is clue 2 of the Delectable collectible socks. Just came out this morning at about 2 a.m. my time, which is on the Pacific Coast. I have the file all downloaded and ready to go, and I see that including the cover page, what looks like the stitch page, and the actual instructions, it's only 3 pages long. So this seems like it's going to be a short clue, but you never know because it might just say keep going for a million rounds or something. I have my project here in this cute little sock project bag, which seemed very fitting. And my yarns I'm using are all Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the afternoon tea pack, which these all do have colorway names. They're on my project page, which is linked below. So if you're curious about a specific color, the one that I know for sure is the pink, and that's Dogwood Heather, but the others I don't remember. Last week you saw that I had finished the first sock, and that is the long leg version of clue 1. And what you didn't see off screen was that I also finished the second leg. So both of my socks are ready for clue 2, and that's a really good feeling to just be ready to dive right in. Although I only need one sock to get started, I'm happy to have both done. So I'm going to start looking at the clue. It's 4:33 in the morning here, and of course today it's Tuesday. It's a work day, and I will check in with you before I leave for work so we can see how far we went, where we think the clue's going. I did say that I'm pretty sure the next portion will be the heel. That seems right to me, and I'm going to start on my first sock, even though it doesn't really matter. They're exactly the same. One note about that though, on the second sock I did use mostly the Weave and Steven, or sometimes I did the float catching where it's like you're doing color work, but oddly enough, and I've had this happen before, I don't know why, on some spots you could actually see when I was doing the catch the float method, and I ended up unpicking that and redoing it the Weave and Steven way. So it meant that I had 8 ends to weave in instead of 39 ends, and I mean weave in after the fact. I did leave the most current tail on both of them, so let's hope that this week's clue has a few less ends. That would be wonderful. But I will check in with you soon. This is definitely a first in mystery anything. You're not going to believe this. I haven't left for work yet. I finished the entire clue. Isn't that insane? All it is the heel flap and heel turn. That's it. That's all we did for this clue. And he mentions to put your stitches you're not using onto a waist needle or extra needle or waist yarn. And I always knit my heels on 9-inch circulars. I've never had to put them onto different anything, so that's exactly what I did. All I have it on is a 9-inch circular, and it's no problem to knit back and forth. I thought maybe with how this is with the short rows, or wedges, I guess, it's still short rows, I thought maybe I would have to, but I didn't have any problems at all. I am quite happy with how my colors are looking. I cannot remember the name of the pattern and I didn't go look, but this reminds me of the top of the foot from the first surprise sock along. It had like eyelets where it connected the wedges, but this looks so similar to that. It does make me wonder, where are we going from here? I can only assume that clue 3 will start with us picking up the gusset stitches. Steven set us up pretty good there to have some slip stitches to be picking up for that. There is one issue though. Do you see? It's going to be so hard to see on here, especially because my needles are not cooperating. Let's see, is it on this side? It's not as obvious. On this side, where that gray stripe is, the gray stitch, yeah, there you can see that. There's a large slip stitch hole. And I even went back and double, triple, quadruple checked the instructions to make sure that I wasn't missing something. It seems like for that one, you should be like knitting I don't know. I'm just concerned that when I pick that up for the gusset, it's going to leave a big hole. If Stephen doesn't tell you this when you're doing that and you have a big hole, sometimes it helps to knit that stitch through the back loop. It kind of tightens it up. It might not look like it on the first pickup round, but when you come back to knit it again, it should help. So that's something I'm going to be keeping in mind when we do that. So I think this might be like the shortest clue video for anything ever. I don't think I've ever finished a whole clue in a day, especially on a work day. That being said, I will go ahead and knit up the second heel before I publish the video, just because why not? I should be able to finish this today after work, I think. So 1 clue in a day, that is crazy. I'm actually quite surprised. Now I can go look at the spoiler thread because I don't go look, beforehand. So yeah, the only thing that we're really going to see any difference is just how people's colors are working up. So I think this could look really cool with some of the variegated colors that people are using. All right, that's it. I'm off to work and I will talk to you later. It's 5:30 p.m. on August the 5th, Clue 2 day, and there it is. Both socks are done. Fastest clue ever. I'm still in shock. The entire clue, both heels for a size 2, the 60 stitch sock, took under 8 grams. For all of my colors that I have left, I have 10 or more grams of everything except for my color B, which, if you'll remember, I did some extra rows of the cuff. But I have I can't remember exactly, 9 point something. So close to 10, which means we still have like half of our yarn left. Maybe just a bit more than half. And I mean, it seems like we've knit about half of the sock now because we just have a foot and a toe to go. So I'm very interested to see what happens next in Clue 3. My guess is that we will pick up the gusset stitches and do the foot. But now the real question is, will we do the foot in the round? That would be my preference. Or one of the things that Stephen likes to do a lot is to knit the sole and the top of the foot separately. So I could see those being 2 separate clues, but I don't know. If not, if we do it in the round, my guess is that we will do the gusset decreases as 1 clue and then the rest of the foot and the toe as another, but who knows? Like I say, with Stephen, you never know. He's full of surprises. Anything could happen. But one more last look at Clue 2 heels. I did see some people talking about either not liking the garter heel. I would say it's not my preference. It does stretch quite a bit. That's what some people were worried about. But it is way better than that garter stitch heel. I mean, not garter stitch. This is garter stitch. The brioche heel. That's what I meant. So I prefer a slip stitch heel flap and gusset because it is very durable. It's a bit cushy. And I think it's long wearing, but I know that Stephen does like the garter stitch heel, so it's tested, it's tried and true for him, so I'm gonna trust it, and we'll see what happens next week. I have a whole week to work on my marled magic blanket, and I'm very excited about that. If you haven't seen my episodes where I've talked about that, highly recommend that project, especially if you have a bunch of yarn left over that you're trying to use up. On that note, I'm going to sign off here. I cannot believe I'm finishing a clue video in 1 day. Hopefully it will be uploaded tonight, or very worst case scenario tomorrow. But I will see you next week for Clue 3. Talk to you later. Bye.